Hello. Thanks for tuning in. This is Casey Lau. So I'm just going to do a quick session today, tonight, right? This is morning here, to talk about good debts and bad debts, and good assets and bad assets. So these are something I learned quite recently for just the past few years. That I think this is good to clarify it. So I'm gonna show my screen, and I'm gonna do some interactive session with you. I'll ask you questions and just post in the comment whatever you want to know more. Just post it in the comment section. And let's get started now. Okay, good. So you can see my screen now. Let me maximize it. Okay. So what is considered good assets and what is considered bad, and what are considered good debts and bad debts, right? So most of us learn about this, including me. I learned about this from financial guru, who's a very famous author of the Rich Dad and Poor Dad, Robert T. Kiyosaki, right? So that's like the Bible of personal finance, right? Most of people will like read that one as the first book. So including me. So that's my first book that I read. So I'm gonna ask you this question: house, is it an asset or a liability? Okay, type it in your comment section. So house, is it asset or liability? Okay, so let me refresh, right? All the definition by Robert Kiyosaki. He said, asset is anything that puts money in your pocket. So when you you have the house, if it is putting money in your pocket, then it is considered an asset, right? And then according to his definition as well, he said liability is anything that takes money out of your pocket. Oh, so by his definition, right? So you say asset is something that put money in your pocket. If it takes money out of your pocket, then it becomes a liability. So let's look at that. Okay, now come back to the house, right? So if you stay in this house, is it an asset or liability? Okay. If you stay in this house, so according to Robert T. Kiyosaki, he said that something that take money out of your pocket is a liability. So if you stay in this house, you spend money on it, right? You have to renovate. Every month you have to pay installment. Even if you buy it with cash, every year you have to pay property taxes. You pay maintenance, utility fees. So is this a asset or a liability, right? So thanks, Diane, saying that liability. So Ashraf also say, okay, let me show. Okay, Ashraf say own stay house is liability, rental property is asset. Okay, good. So Diane also said, thank you, Diana, liability. Okay, so according to Robert Kiyosaki, this house you're staying in is a liability. So next one. So if this house is occupied by tenants, so it become an asset, right? It says that if the property is putting money in your pocket, then it becomes a asset. Okay, another question. So if this house is tenant occupied, but the rental is not enough to cover your mortgage, not enough. So every month you still negative cash flow, you still have to fork out money. So is this house with this property an asset or liability in this case? Right? So this got us thinking, right? Is this still an asset or is it a liability? Okay. So I want to ask you another further questions. So for example, you buy the same house and you buy it with cash. So you buy it with cash and then you rent it out. So every month you have positive cash flow, right? You got the rental positive. So this house is an asset according to that definition, right? It puts money in your pocket. But what if you then refinance it, right? Refinance it 90%. Then you have to pay installment, and you refinance 90%, and then you use a very short-term loan, maybe 5 years, 10 years. So your installment is very high and it's not enough your rental is not enough to cover the installments. That means every month you are forking out money. So it's still the same house, still the same tenants, still the same rental. Now with that refinancing, it becomes a liability, right? According to Robert T. Kiyosaki. So this is the definition. So it got us thinking. So once my friend Peter actually asked me this, only say no, Robert said house is a asset if it's putting in money to you, but it become a liability when it is taking money out of your pocket. So if you're looking at this way, then it become very confusing, right? If you agree with me, very confusing. So it's the same house, still same tenants, still the same rental yield. How come it can be asset and how come it can be liability? You know, sometimes it's house. So we have to redefine it. So Peter actually is the one who talked about this, and then he redefined the whole thing. So I think this is very clear, and he clarified to me, and so that's why I think this is very good to share with you, so that you can have more angles to look at this thing. So asset, it is good. So is it asset? It is good when it generates income, right, and it appreciates in value. Okay, and then asset is bad when it incur expense and it depreciate in value. So we look at asset and liability differently, like look at asset and debts differently. So asset can be good and asset can be bad. Or asset also can be bad if the return is not enough. Right? For example, you put your money in saving account and giving you very, very low return. So it is an asset, it will appreciate in value, it generate income, but I don't think it's a good asset as well because the return is not enough. Right? Okay, let's define another one, the debt. So how about debt? Okay, debt is something, it is good when the interest is low. And this is Peter's definition, is it lower than the return you can get elsewhere, conservatively estimated. So if you are taking a debt and the debt has very low interest, lower than your return that you can get from any other places, conservatively estimated, then the debt is good. And how about bad debt? Bad debt is debt that is very high. The loan that is very high interest, higher than your return rate elsewhere, conservatively estimated. So this is Peter Lim's definition, my friend. So now it helped help us actually see things clearer, right? So I'm going to give you just a couple of examples so that you can differentiate it. So for example, this is I put an Apple stores image here because I'm referring to Apple share. So if you buy the Apple company shares, it is a good asset, right? Because it has dividend and it has appreciated so much over the past decades, right? And it produce income is a good asset. Okay, and even if you buy this asset with some margin financing and you pay 5% interest on that, then that debt still become a good debt because your return you're getting is much higher than 5% for Apple shares. So this is one example, good asset, good debt. And how about this one? A rental property. So you got a rental property that produce income, it appreciate, right? And even if you don't rent it out, even if you stay on it, so your own property. So since it's your own property, actually you can say it doesn't produce income, but it actually produce income in a way that you don't have to pay rental, right? It still produce income for you because you no longer have to pay rental for your own place, right? And it appreciate in value. So if you buy a good location, it will appreciate in value. So it is good asset, and you paid it with low mortgage interest. Then the mortgage become a good debt as well. Okay. And how about this one? So another property. It is it can be tenanted and appreciate in value, produce income, so it's a good asset. We agree with that. And it become bad debt if you are using personal loan to buy it, right? So some people, they don't have the down payment, maybe 20%, so they take up personal loan, use that cash to buy the property. So they pay 10% on that personal loan. Then it become a bad debt. So you're buying a good asset, but I don't think that the property is going to appreciate 10% a year, or so conservatively estimated. I don't think it will be easily beating 10%, right? Depending on the price you pay for the property. Okay, how about this one? You know, a car, it will depreciate and it incur expense, especially you use it yourself. You pay petrol, parking, everything, like insurance. So it depreciate in value. It's a bad asset. But you can pay with car loan. If the car loan is like 5%, and you can get better return elsewhere, then you're using good debt to acquire a bad asset. And another example, if you're buying the latest iPhone, it is also a bad asset because it depreciate, right? Incur expense because you have to subscribe to data plan, 5G, all those. So it depreciate and it incur expense. It's a bad asset, but you can buy it with good debt. That means, like, I have the Apple Card in the States, United States. We have Apple Card, and then I can do 24-month installments, 0 interest, same pricing. Whether you pay upfront or you pay every month, they will use that upfront figure. I think this phone, I just ordered it online, still waiting for it to come. Mine, I think, costs 1399, and then it will divide into 24 months. So I pay monthly without interest. So this is good debt, right? I'm acquiring a bad asset with good debt. But if you're buying toys or gaming console, whatever, gadget, and those things depreciate, you buy bad assets, it depreciate, incur expense, and then you're using your credit card, you don't pay it off. And then you pay credit card some more, 18%. Then it becomes also a bad debt. So you're acquiring bad asset and bad debt. Okay, so hopefully this clarified the thing about good debt and bad debt, good asset and bad asset. So what you want to do is, of course, you want to acquire good assets, right? Generate income, appreciate in value, and you can acquire it with good debt, which is low interest, lower than your return rate elsewhere, conservatively estimated. So this is the message I want to convey to you today. Hopefully you got something, and if you find this interesting, please share it with your friends. Just share this. And if you have any question, you can type in the chat box. In the comment section.
I'm not a guru, I'm not a financial wizard, I'm not a magician, and I don't have the magic pill that will make you wake up as a successful person. Furthermore, I have nothing to sell to you in this video. After years of educating the public about financial literacy, I have a small gift for you. It is an ebook that I compiled based on the past articles that I publish on my website at kclau.com, all about personal finance money tips every Malaysian can use. Again, this ebook is not some magic pill, it is not a money printing machine. However, you can get it for free, and I believe it will put some wisdom in your brain so you can get better with managing your money, invest smarter, and accumulate wealth the proper way. Download it now on my website. See you there.